1789, France. A society divided, the privileged few in luxury, the masses struggling. The French monarchy, facing debt, turned to its most vulnerable subjects. The common people, called the Third Estate, already struggling, found themselves burdened with taxes, while the First and Second Estates, which were of nobles and royalties, enjoyed exemptions. The inequitable tax system fueled resentment towards the monarchy and the privileged elites. The financial strain on the Third Estate was relentless. With the monarchy's insatiable appetite for wealth, taxes on the common people skyrocketed. Farmers, artisans, and laborers saw their earnings siphoned away to fund the extravagant lifestyles of the elite and the endless wars. Harvests failed, bread prices soared, and hunger became a daily torment. The people were bled dry, their spirits crushed under the weight of an indifferent aristocracy. The seeds of revolution were not just sown, they were being ruthlessly fertilized by the suffering of the masses. Desperation began to turn into anger. In the crowded markets and the dimly lit taverns, whispers of rebellion grew louder. The common people, once resigned to their fate, started to envision a different future, one where they could break free from their shackles and reclaim their dignity. France's financial woes ran deeper than an unfair tax system. Years of extravagant spending and costly wars had left the treasury depleted, with poor harvests worsening the situation. The government, desperate for solutions, proposed reforms that threatened the privileges of the nobility and clergy, highlighting deep societal divisions. But, as the Enlightenment ideas spread, the call for equality grew louder. Philosophers and revolutionaries alike began to question the rigid social hierarchies that had long defined French society. They argued that all men are created equal and deserve the same opportunities and rights. This demand for equality was not merely theoretical. It became a rallying cry for the oppressed, a beacon of hope for the downtrodden. The people of France began to envision a society where merit, not birthright, determined one's place in the world. The momentum for change was unstoppable. The old order, with its entrenched privileges and systemic injustices, faced an unprecedented challenge. The desire for a more just and equitable society galvanized the masses, setting the stage for a revolution that would forever alter the course of history. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a philosopher, offered a radical vision for a new society. In The Social Contract, he argued that government derives its legitimacy from the consent of the governed. Rousseau's ideas of popular sovereignty and the general will had a profound impact on the French Revolution. With the increase in the financial and political problems, King Louis XVI was forced to call the Estates General. The Estates General was the General Assembly of the First, Second, and Third State of France. It was called to purpose solutions for the political and financial situation of the empire, but became a battleground for the future of France. The Third Estate, frustrated by the privileged orders, declared themselves the National Assembly, representing the will of the French people. This act of defiance marked a turning point in the French Revolution. The summer of 1789, Paris crackled with tension. The formation of the National Assembly emboldened the people but stirred anxieties. Rumors swirled, whispers of conspiracies and counter-revolutionary plots. Fear and suspicion clouded the air as Parisians gathered, wary of eavesdroppers. The king had surrounded Paris with troops, their loyalties uncertain. Some whispered he planned to dissolve the National Assembly by force. On July 11th, Jacques Neckar, who was the only minister who was a voice of common people, was dismissed, which sparked outrage. Neckar, a voice of reason, had been a reassuring presence. His removal was seen as a betrayal, sparking outrage. The streets of Paris took on a different character. Crowds surged, their chants echoing off the stone buildings. The people sensed a decisive moment was at hand. They held on to the dream of a future free from oppression. The battle for the Bastille, though fierce, was ultimately short-lived. The fortress, a symbol of royal authority for centuries, proved no match for the raw fury of the Parisian mob. The defenders, outnumbered and outgunned, fought bravely but were overwhelmed by the sheer ferocity of the assault. By late afternoon, the tricolor flag, a symbol of the revolution, flew over the Bastille. The capture of the Bastille was more than a military victory. It was a symbolic triumph of the people over their oppressors. The fortress, long associated with royal tyranny, had fallen, its capture a testament to the power of collective action. News of the event spread like wildfire throughout Paris and beyond, igniting a wave of celebrations and uprisings across the country. The storming of the Bastille marked a turning point in the French Revolution. It shattered the aura of invincibility that had long surrounded the monarchy, demonstrating that the people, united in their cause, possessed the power to reshape their destiny. The event sent shockwaves across Europe, inspiring hope in the hearts of those who yearned for liberty and striking fear into the hearts of those who clung to power. The French Revolution, once a distant rumble of discontent, had found its voice, a voice that echoed through the streets of Paris and reverberated across the continent. The fall of the Bastille, a symbol of oppression crumbled into dust, marked not the end but the beginning, the dawn of a new era, an era of unprecedented change and upheaval. Amid the chaos and uncertainty of the French Revolution, one figure rose to prominence, his name becoming synonymous with both the revolution's ideals and its excesses: Maximilien Robespierre, a lawyer from Arras. Robespierre was known for his unwavering principles, his eloquence, and his unyielding commitment to the revolution's cause. Robespierre, a staunch advocate for democracy and social justice, quickly gained a following among the Parisian working class. His speeches, delivered with passionate conviction, resonated with those who saw in him a champion of their cause. He became known as the Incorruptible, a testament to his reputation for honesty and integrity in a political landscape rife with corruption and self-serving ambition. Robespierre's rise to power was inextricably linked to the increasingly radical turn of the revolution. As the situation in France deteriorated, with internal divisions widening and external threats mounting, the demand for decisive leadership grew. Robespierre, with his unwavering belief in the revolution's righteousness and his willingness to take drastic measures to safeguard its gains, emerged as the embodiment of this revolutionary fervor. In 1792, France was declared a republic, the monarchy abolished, and Louis XVI, once the absolute ruler of France, was put on trial for treason against the people. Robespierre, a staunch opponent of the death penalty in principle, argued passionately for the king's execution, believing that such a drastic measure was necessary to sever ties with the past and secure the future of the republic. The king's execution, a watershed moment in the revolution, ushered in a period of unprecedented violence and terror. The execution of Louis XVI in January 1793 marked the beginning of the Reign of Terror, a dark and bloody chapter in the French Revolution. With France at war with several European powers and facing internal rebellion, the Committee of Public Safety, led by Robespierre, took control, instituting a series of draconian measures to suppress dissent and safeguard the revolution from its enemies. The guillotine, a symbol of revolutionary justice, became an instrument of terror, its blade falling on anyone suspected of counter-revolutionary activities or deemed an enemy of the people. Thousands were arrested, imprisoned without trial, and sent to the guillotine on the flimsiest of accusations. The streets of Paris ran red with blood as the revolution, once a beacon of hope, devoured its own children. The Reign of Terror was a period of paranoia and suspicion, where neighbor denounced neighbor and fear permeated every aspect of life. The Committee of Public Safety, convinced that it alone possessed the virtue and vision to guide the revolution, silenced all opposition, ruthlessly crushing any perceived threat to its authority. Robespierre, once hailed as the Incorruptible, became the face of the terror, his name synonymous with the violence and bloodshed that engulfed France. But even as he consolidated his power, eliminating rivals and silencing critics, the seeds of his own downfall were being sown. The terror, while effective in crushing opposition, had created a climate of fear and uncertainty that ultimately proved unsustainable. The revolution, having devoured its enemies, would soon turn on itself. As the Reign of Terror cast a long dark shadow over France, a young artillery officer, born on the island of Corsica, began his meteoric rise through the ranks of the French army. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte, and his destiny, inextricably intertwined with the fate of the French Revolution, would forever alter the course of European history. Napoleon, though slight in stature, possessed an intellect as sharp as his sword and an ambition that knew no bounds. A master strategist and a charismatic leader, he inspired fierce loyalty in his troops, who were willing to follow him into the very jaws of hell. His battlefield victories, swift and decisive, transformed him from an obscure officer into a national hero. The French Revolution, having swept away the old order, had created opportunities for ambitious individuals like Napoleon. The army, once a bastion of aristocratic privilege, was now open to talent, regardless of birth or social standing. Napoleon, a man of the people, seized this opportunity with both hands. His military campaigns in Italy and Egypt, though not without their setbacks, cemented his reputation as a brilliant tactician and a fearless leader. He returned to France in 1799, a conquering hero, his name on the lips of every citizen, his image plastered on walls throughout Paris. The revolution, exhausted by years of turmoil and bloodshed, yearned for stability, for a strong hand to guide them out of the chaos. Napoleon, with his aura of invincibility and his promise of order, seemed to offer that hope. On November 9, 1799, Napoleon, sensing an opportunity, he staged a coup d'état. The French people, weary of revolution, seemed relieved. Napoleon, now first consul, wasted no time in consolidating power. He became the architect of a new order, one built on the foundations of the revolution's ideals, but shaped by his own boundless ambition. He centralized power, reformed the legal system, established the Bank of France, and implemented a comprehensive system of education. His military campaigns, a testament to his strategic brilliance and his unwavering determination, expanded French influence across Europe, redrew the map of the continent, and spread the ideals of the French Revolution, albeit in a form often distorted to serve his own ends. In 1804, in a ceremony designed to rival the coronations of kings past, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of the French, marking the culmination of his extraordinary rise to power. The revolution, which had begun with the storming of the Bastille and the cry of liberté, égalité, fraternité, had given birth to an emperor. Napoleon's reign, though marked by military glory and administrative efficiency, was not without its dark side. His ambition, his insatiable thirst for power led to endless wars that devastated Europe and ultimately resulted in his downfall. The ideals of the French Revolution, though often trampled underfoot during his reign, would outlive him, inspiring generations to fight for liberty, equality, and fraternity. The French Revolution, a period of both great hope and unimaginable terror, had come to an end, but its legacy would continue to shape the destiny of France and the world for centuries to come. The French Revolution had a profound and lasting impact on world history. It toppled thrones, inspired revolutions, and spread democratic ideals. Liberty, equality, and fraternity became global rallying cries. The revolution transformed France, abolishing feudalism and serfdom. It created a centralized state, laying the groundwork for modern France. Its legacy of political and social reform endures. Inspiring liberalism and nationalism, it reshaped the political landscape. The revolution's influence is seen in human rights declarations worldwide. It reminds us that the pursuit of a just society is ongoing. The French Revolution resonates with us today. Themes of social inequality and political oppression are still relevant. It mirrors our struggles and aspirations. The storming of the Bastille and the execution of Louis XVI captivate our imagination. They remind us of democracy's fragility and the need for vigilance. The revolution is a beacon, igniting hope for a better world. Its ideals guide us towards liberty, equality, and fraternity. The lessons of the French Revolution remain relevant today. It teaches us that change is inevitable and the pursuit of justice requires vigilance. The French Revolution, a story of triumph and tragedy, reminds us that the fight for freedom is a never-ending journey and reminding us of the power of ordinary people to challenge oppression and pursue a more just society. Join us next time on Time Travel Diaries as we uncover more fascinating stories from our shared history. Thank you for watching.